Good morning. So today let's talk a little bit about Scorpio, all right? Because this is the month of Scorpio, right? So some friends have been asking me about why they seem to encounter many different types of Scorpios. Some are so sweet and loving, you know, it's amazing. Yeah, I know, right? To use the word sweet on a Scorpio in itself is already mind-boggling. But here's the thing. If you take a sun sign, I mean, it spans over 1 month, right? So you can loosely take that and divide it into 3 sections, which means basically that first 10 days is what we call the first decan of Scorpio, or the first decan of Aries, or the first decan of whatever sign. You just loosely divide it into sections, 3 sections of 10 days each. So the first 10 days will be known as the first decan. The second 10 days will be known as the second decan, and of course the third 10 days will be known as the third decan. So there are different types of Scorp, there are different types of Aries, and so on and so forth. Not to mention the planetary placements influencing your character. But in reality, even the first, second, and third decans already show a lot of differences. So if you look at first decan Scorpio, yeah, they tend to be the more vindictive types. Okay, so the first 10 days of Scorpio, so if your birth date falls into that sector, then you are known as a first decan Scorpio. Now, first decan Scorps are very, they are all the nasty things you read about Scorpio. But of course, that's very general a statement, because you do need to look at a person's birth chart to know how else the character is changed. So if let's say you're a first decan Scorpio, I would say that your saving grace would be a Neptune, placement of Neptune in house 1. Then you are more forgiving and not so, what the locals say, not so cunning. Yeah. Now, if you are a second decan Scorpio, then your co-ruler is what we call Neptune. So with Neptune in the personality, right, it makes the Scorpio a lot less vindictive, a lot less revengeful. But they do tend to self-sabotage themselves by being attached to the past. It's very hard for them to let go of anything, usually emotional. Now, we always say that Scorpios are rich people, right? But, sorry. I don't mean rich in the sense of financial or material. They can be very rich materially. But most of them are rich spiritually. Their experiences in life are very intense. And when it's high, it's very high. When it's low, it's very low. So, for example, you can have Scorpios which are like barely scraping and living together out of the bottom of a barrel. And then you have Scorpios that are really living the high life. Why the vast difference? It's basically about what they want in life. Scorpios are great at manifesting. Okay, they must want something. Then they will go for it with laser focus, and they will get it for sure. No two ways about it. Alright? So the third decan is a bit more clingy. They're quite alright. They're a bit sentimental, you know, but I suppose the softest Scorp is the second decan Scorp. Now, does that mean that you go to all your friends' lists, find out who's the first decan Scorp, and then you don't hang out with them? Of course not. There are other factors involved in a chart, so you must learn to read the whole book, not just the chapter. So reading the whole book, what's the point? In order for us to make predictions, right, in astrology, we base it on character, because in metaphysical studies, we are taught that, number one, people don't change. Yeah, we don't change. We may change the way we do things, we may change the way we see things, but we definitely and certainly do not change on. Okay? I think some of you who have attended workshops like T Half Acre and stuff, you may realize that, and you may agree with me that people don't change. So when people don't change, that is how we're able to be so accurate about making predictions. Okay? Now the next thing is that chart don't lie. That's the second thing we learn in metaphysics. Chart don't lie. If a chart says this person is like that, this person is really like that. Then it comes down to a case of making obvious, conscious choices. Sorry, a bit of sore throat here. Very dry. Then the next thing is about making conscious choices in your life to change the course of your life. Okay. I generally have got 3 rules. Don't hate me for being so direct here. But rule number 1, people don't change. Rule number 2, chart don't lie. Rule number 3, you don't lie. I say that very openly because I think it's the truth. And only when you acknowledge the truth, then your life will change, man. So what do I mean by you don't CB, right? Look, we can all be assholes at some point in our lives, right? I may be an angel to this friend, but I can be an absolute asshole to another person. Because it's about how the person treats me, alright? If the person treats me nice, of course I'm very nice to you. If the person is an asshole to me, then naturally I'm an asshole to them. But of course it's 2 sides of a coin. The other side of the coin being that other people are reflections of ourselves, right? So then you need to turn around and ask yourself, do I want to be a reflector or do I want to work on myself? So Scorpios they can go either way. They can either take the information, use it as a springboard for self-improvement, or they can go all out and make your life more miserable. I guess it's pretty much luck of the draw, because the evolving Scorpio is someone who will just turn the other cheek and walk away. Now, they're not religious, they're not spiritual, they're just, you're not worth the energy. Okay? The other end of Scorpio is someone who might just jolly well chop off your legs just to make your life miserable. Metaphorically speaking, of course. So then comes the question of karma. Because karma is like a boomerang effect. It's literally, you want to understand karma, you take a boomerang, you fling it out, it comes right back at you, right? And the worst thing is that it goes one circle, and when it comes back at you, it usually hits you in the back of the head. Usually. So the worst type of karma a person can encounter is that of relationship. Because when it comes to kanting, our feelings, very sensitive subject, you know. You treat me good, I treat you good. 10 times more better, correct? But if you treat me bad, I will also treat you bad 10 times worse. So when the worst kind of karma, yeah, if we talk, because karma is a Sanskrit word for result, right? Or actions taken, isn't it? So when you talk about karma, the worst relationship is, the worst karma is a relationship karma. Because if you encounter someone who's a bit off in the head, or if you encounter someone who doesn't seem to have all the screws in place, then you're going to have a lot of problems, because they're going to create stories in your own head. They're going to, you know, like how some people, never mind those stories, but you know how some people can formulate alternate realities in their head, and they're living in that reality. So this kind of people can be very dangerous. They are very unpredictable, and you should just basically try to be nice or not spend time with them, with this kind of people, because relationship karma is the worst. It's the worst kind to have. There's no logic to it, there's no reasoning to it. Okay, so when someone does something to you, they lash out at you, that's instant karma, with no premeditation, no censorship, no editing. They just whack. So that kind of karma is quite hard. So if you are in a position where you can be nice to someone, or you can be really mean, I encourage you to choose being nice. If you cannot be nice, just walk away. Because you want to cut the karma then instead of feeding it and elevating it to a position in your life where it has more say or more influence or more impact. Okay? So that's a very important lesson, especially for Scorpios. Because Scorpio basically is, you, the Scorpio, will get exactly what you give out 10 times more. Alright? Now, you don't believe me? In Brian's younger days, when he would go to school, his teachers would give us a lot of problems. And of course, one day I got really fed up, and in a beach fit, I went off to the school stomping, and I was muttering under my breath, and I was saying, you know, I hope the teacher gets diarrhea and doesn't come to school, blah blah blah, you know, I hope she's a miserable day. Well, the reality is that I had diarrhea for a week after that. So yeah, you get what you put out, but you probably get it before the other person gets it. So always watch what you say, always watch what you do for Scorpio. Okay? Have a good day, guys. Bye.